All right, so for thinning of your plants, you're going to be making sure that you go down to only one plant per quad. And we want to make sure we keep our biggest and strongest one. So if you take a look at this quad I have here, you'll see there are several plants in each of the 4 quadrants. And our goal is to get them down to the best plant and get rid of the rest. Quadrant 1 only has 1 plant, so we don't have to do anything there. Here in quadrant 2, you can see one of these plants is taller than the other. And you'll be able to see this better when we go to the larger plants. But essentially you're going to cut the leaves off so the plant quits doing photosynthesis and therefore won't grow anymore. If we take a look at quadrant 3 here, we have 3 nice plants growing, but this one's definitely the biggest. So what I'm going to do is very carefully, so don't cut all 3 plants, is I'm going to cut off the stems, again below the leaves, and get them out of there. So I only have 1 plant. And finally in this last one, this plant is the best one with the true leaves coming through. So I am just going to snip these 2 off. You do not want to pull your plants out because you can ruin the root system for the plant you want to keep. And now we're here at 1 plant per quad. Step 2 is to measure your plant height in centimeters to the apex. The apex is right here where the topmost leaves come out of the plant, and you're going to measure it from the soil. People have been having difficulties measuring from the soil, so if you want to measure from the top of your white container, you can. Just make sure you measure that way every time so your data is consistent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to measure to the apex. And the best way to look for the apex is where the topmost leaves come out, and that's these true leaves. And you can see there's kind of a dark spot almost there. That's our apex. So I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to try to get it in as close as possible. And if I am going to my apex, it is 2.5 centimeters. So on page 145, for my quadrant number 4, right? So we're going to put the date here. So this is either day 7 or 9. Calendar date. For quadrant 4, I had 2.5 centimeters. You don't need to write centimeters because it's over here, so we know that that's 2.5 centimeters. Number of leaves, we only want the true leaves, so not the cotyledons. So if you look up here, I have 1 and 2 true leaves. They're the ones that kind of are spiky looking on the edges. So for that, I'll write down 2 leaves. You don't have to do anything in these 2 columns, but you need to go look and measure your other 4 plants and figure out how many true leaves they have as well. Last but not least, you are going to go to page 145. And in page 145, you're going to put which day it is, and you're going to sketch out. I'm doing quad 4, so I'm just going to write that up there to remind myself. And if I look at my plant, I feel like I want to sketch it from the side, so there's my stem. And then I kind of have this part here, like my cotyledons are coming out. They're the leaves that kind of look like hearts. At least that's what they remind me of. And my first true leaves are also coming out of that same spot, so I'm going to kind of put them in there as well. Right, so I'm going to label. These are my cotyledons. These are my leaves. This right here is the apex, and the supporting structure is the stem.